I don't care how much your political party leaders try to fool you and make you believe that whatever is happening there in Gaza and Palestine is not a genocide. That's a genocide happening there in Palestine. Palestinian people are being killed for nothing. Their land is being taken. That's apartheid. South Africa suffered apartheid, so you guys should be sympathetic to what those people are facing there. Israel people are not defending themselves. They are committing war crimes to the people of Gaza. So what's happening there? They are raping children. They are bombing hospitals, schools where there is innocent women and children. You can't justify that and say they are defending themselves. They're not defending themselves. They're committing war crimes. And shout out to Naledi Pandor. She was one of the people who took, representing South Africa, of course, who took the state of Israel to ICJ for ceasefire. And today I have a clip of her and Susan Walsh. If you want to watch the full episode, you can go to Sizwe, but I have a clip of her explaining why she believes what's happening there in Gaza is a genocide. Take a listen.
Well, I look at it this way. Firstly, I think it's important for South Africa to test international law. The Genocide Convention is an established instrument. Israel is a signatory to it. We've allowed a lot of hypocrisy over many decades on international law practices. And Israel has enjoyed an amazing impunity and almost an invisibility, that they are protected by everybody because of the horror which all of us share of the Holocaust. But having experienced a tragedy of that kind doesn't mean you should have free license to murder civilians and to oppress Palestinian people. So my view was it was important South Africa took the step, but also that finally impunity was being questioned in a global forum. And third, Israel had to come to the court and put together a top team to attempt in a public setting to defend the indefensible. And you could see they couldn't. They couldn't answer what the judges said in the final decision on the first application. You can't say no, Minister so-and-so didn't say these are animals. You can't. So, they tried to say, well, statements in a heated environment. So for me, having all of this transparently revealed to the world was significant. And it's shocking how many people were unaware and how for the first time, for many, they were getting a revelation of the truth. Because this impunity has been supported by media as well. It's almost given a veneer that whatever Israel does is related to the horrible experience of Jewish people under the Holocaust. So you almost erase the repression of Palestinian people. And it's been a clever way of granting this impunity.
One of the things that was so powerful about that moment, as you say, is there was so much going on in the media landscape that one wasn't sure what to believe. Information was dripping through. And what our legal team and DIRCO were able to do through them and through those who spoke in the court that day was distill the issue and tell the story in a way that was unimpeachable. And suddenly you realized the horror of all that had happened in that narration.
We had such an incredible legal team, very experienced people, and also in their own record, human rights lawyers. And they went factually through the issues that needed to be tabled. And I think after the case, everyone spoke of South Africa taking Israel to the ICJ for genocide. And there were many, even my own friend, Tony Blinken, who said that this is just, doesn't have merit, I think, is the statement he made. But after that, there was more and more talk about this needs to come to an end. A solution needs to be found. And suddenly journalists began to look more closely at the information that was coming out. And that's when you saw the beginning of this fact-checking. Because there were all these horror stories that Hamas had done this, Hamas had beheaded, and so on and so forth. And yet the horror being, imposed on Palestinian people was not spoken of. So suddenly, you began to hear voices for Palestine. And the world stood up as well. The protests by young people, our own country, our people stood up. Palestinians say that we made them feel that they are part of humanity by taking this case to court.